You might remember 1 or 2 episodes ago, I signed up for loads of 1.1 races in the last quarter of the season to score as many UCI points as possible. Well, it turns out I was rejected by almost every single one. This means that World Tour races like the Tour de France are even more important to us, because they are the only source of UCI points for our team, and we need UCI points to survive in World Tour. Now, of course, the good news is that we have been quite successful recently, winning 2 stages at this Tour de France with Kopecky and Romeo. And the race is only halfway, so plenty of stages to come. We are picking up at stage 11 of this Tour de France, which is also stage 11 of the Tour de France 2022. And I have to say, in real life, this stage was an absolute banger. Both Roglic and Vingegaard rolling attacks on Pogacar on the slopes of the Galibier, that is ingrained in my memory. Now, of course, we've got Ivan Romeo, so not exactly a rider that can 1v1 Tadej Pogacar, so our opportunities lie in the breakaway. The one downside is, because we're not competitive for KOM or the white jersey, Ivan Romeo is starting halfway the peloton every single day because the jersey wearers start at the front, which means we always have to move up to the front of the peloton before we can attack. There we go, we've made it to the front. There goes our attack with Hector Alvarez on the right side of the road, Okamika and Romeo in the wheel, and do we have a gap? There's a gap in the peloton. Oh my god. There's 50 riders, including Pogacar, of the front, but the gap is getting closed. Okay, I swear to the cycling gods, I did not even attack, but somehow I made it into the breakaway. So, Romeo, Schwarzbacher, and Okamika are all 3 in here. I'm not complaining, but I've got a bad feeling about this stage. I feel like Tadej Pogacar wants revenge for 2022 and wants to win the stage. Actually, the breakaway went so hard on that small climb that the gap towards the peloton is 6 minutes, but it also means that both Okamika and Schwarzbacher are basically off the back, so that's not great. And there's some really solid climbers in this breakaway. Derek G, Joao Almeida, Enric Mas, Ben O'Connor, Ben Healy. This breakaway is stacked. It's gonna be really hard for Romeo to be competitive in that group. So, the first big climb of the day is behind us, the Col du Telegraphe, and the break is down to 5 riders, with Ivan Romeo still a part of the group. Almeida, McNulty, O'Connor, and G as well, so some competition, but Enric Mas, he's gone. We're now on the first slopes of the Col du Galibier, 17k at 7%, and the peloton is not exactly pacing hard because, well, UAE Team Emirates, Tadej Pogacar, is in the same team as these 2 boys, Almeida and McNulty, so maybe that allows the breakaway to win? That's what I'm hoping. There we go, closer and closer towards the top. Derek G, O'Connor off the back. I'm the only rider in the wheel of McNulty and Almeida as we speak, and I feel like Almeida is the strongest rider up here, but hopefully I'm wrong, and it is Romeo. 300 meters to go to the top of the Col du Galibier. I'm gonna get past these guys and take the KOM points and now drop back to maintain position 30. I feel like something's possible here. Like, Joao Almeida is a far better climber on paper, but he does not look unbeatable. Imagine if Ivan Romeo can win on Col du Granon. That'd be epic. Honestly, with 16 kilometers to go, it is a certainty that the breakaway is gonna win because the gap is 8 minutes and G and O'Connor have caught back up but have used energy doing so. Oh, come on. That's a good move. That's a smart move by UAE Team Emirates. Let's try to work together with O'Connor and G on 70-ish to try and catch McNulty. And there goes Almeida. Attacks towards McNulty at the foot of the Col du Granon. So an immediate move by him, which I'm liking because I'm hoping he's overextending. Both G and O'Connor are going all out to try and catch up, but I'm setting my own tempo as we speak. They are within sight. It's only 25 seconds between Almeida and Romeo as we speak with 9 kilometers to go. So come on, Ivan, this one is yours. There we go. Ben O'Connor has been caught and we're slowly but surely catching up to the front. The gap is 13 seconds now. Come on, let's catch Almeida and McNulty. 5.5 kilometers to go and the gap is slowly but surely extending. It's now 25 seconds on Romeo. We're dropping O'Connor as we speak, so a podium is pretty certain, but I want more than that. I want to win here. Ivan Romeo keeps riding faster and faster, now on 86 with 3 kilometers to go, but the gap is still 28 seconds, so it's looking like it's gonna be for Almeida or McNulty. I'm simply not going to make it. 1.5 kilometers to go, and Joao Almeida is going solo on the slopes of Col du Granon. Romeo is cracking, but can I catch Mr. McNulty here? I don't have any energy to sprint him, so McNulty is gonna beat me, but Joao Almeida is the winner on Col du Granon. That's a shame, but not much I could have done. A really nice podium place though for Ivan Romeo on the Queen stage of this tour. Honestly, in a breakaway that strong, I did not expect to be competitive with Joao Almeida and so forth on the final climb, but thanks to a wonderful daily form, we were competitive and that was a really fun stage. Wait a second, we are 4th in GC at the Tour de France after stage 11? How is that possible? Like, sure, I knew I was gaining time by being in the breakaway, but I didn't expect to move up 12 positions into P4. I'm a little bit scared that this is gonna prevent me from going in the break on stage 12 to Alpe d'Huez. But on the other hand, we are now in the KOM jersey after this stage, so that is fantastic. And on top of that, this also means we start at the front of the peloton at the start of the stage, so that makes it easier to go in the break. Most of you know this, but I fell in love with pro cycling through Pro Cycling Manager in 2005. But actual cycling, myself, that started with Zwift. Zwift is the go-to training app to make indoor cycling so much more enjoyable. If you want to try Zwift but you don't have an indoor smart trainer yet, you're lucky because right now you can get 10% off the full Zwift ride and Wahoo Core 2 indoor setup through the link below. Anyway, on to stage 12, also a massive stage to Alpe d'Huez, with Tadej Pogacar as the favorite. But like I said, despite being 4th in GC, I want to go in the breakaway and take KOM points and fight for the stage. So hopefully the peloton allows me. Oh la 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 la, because Romeo is in KOM, he's starting at the front of the peloton together with Schwarzbacher, so an easy way into the breakaway, but let's see if Romeo is allowed to be in the breakaway, because he's closing GC. 35 riders attacked from the peloton, but no chase from the peloton, so Romeo's in the break. About to start the fast climb, the Col du Galibier, and the break is coming together, and there's only one rider next to Romeo in the top 10 of GC, which is Romain Grégoire, so not exactly a danger. This breakaway is going to be all about energy management, but I don't think Schwarzbacher is going to make it too far in this breakaway. So ideally I would have had a teammate more, but we don't. So we have to work with just Romeo later. Oh snap, attack at the foot of the Col du Galibier in the peloton. Primoz Roglic, 8th in GC, is attacking to the peloton, but he is being chased down by Narvaez and has been caught. So that was kind of useless. And once again, Primoz Roglic attacks in the peloton now with a 45-second gap on Brennan pacing in the peloton for Jonas Vingegaard. One thing is certain, because Roglic keeps attacking, the gap to this breakaway keeps going down. And as a consequence, the breakaway keeps upping the tempo, but Ivan Romeo is almost done for, so I don't think I'll be getting any KOM points on this climb. There we go, we are getting dropped with 3 kilometers to go and we're almost out of red bar, so this is not good. Looks like Enric Mas will be taking the KOM points and I'm very curious what the KOM standings look like now. Okay, Romeo is still in the lead with 47 points. Over the top, we're now on 1 minute 40 from the front of the race, but wait a second. This is the GC group. Romeo has been caught. I can't believe this. So, the second climb has begun. The Col de la Croix de Fer, 28.5 kilometers at 5% with some steeper segments in there. We've got Bilbao pacing for Bahrain and the gap towards the breakaway is just about a minute, so they're not that far ahead. I will try to stay put for now, but I'll try to attack with Romeo somewhere towards the middle of the climb. We're just about halfway to climb and the steep segment is about to come. I'm now working in the peloton with Tercero. Romeo is my only other rider with energy left, so it's almost time to bridge. There we go, Tercero spending his last bit of energy. Romeo is ready to launch and he'll do it right now. There comes the attack towards the breakaway. 50 seconds is the gap, let's try and bridge. There we go, catching riders from this breakaway one by one, but my yellow bar is not looking too bright, so let's slow down a little bit. Oh no, the peloton is coming back, the peloton is coming back. I might literally get caught over the top, but I'm about a minute behind at the moment over the top of the Croix de Fer, so once again, not many KOM points, but I'm actually still in the lead. Honestly, with 50 kilometers to go, my prediction is simple. I think Tadej Pogacar is winning this race. The descent of the Croix de Fer is almost done for, but I haven't actually recovered my yellow bar that much. But the benefit is, we're almost in the breakaway. That right there is the breakaway, and we are in it. There we go. 2 minutes on the peloton. But in the final valley to Alpe d'Huez, the gap is coming down to now less than a minute, so the tempo in this breakaway is simply not high enough. I feel like we're gonna see attacks straight from the get-go on Alpe d'Huez here in this breakaway, and there we go. That is happening. Butrago is going, Van Eetveld is responding. Can we do 85 the entire climb? No, we can't. The gap is less than a minute. It's like half a minute to this group, the peloton led by Brandon McNulty, so we are doomed. And now Florian Lipovic has bridged towards the breakaway and is dropping everybody, including myself, so I've actually been caught by the GC group. Yeah, this one is over. Nonetheless, I will try to do my best to finish as high as possible because we could still be in the top 10 of GC. There comes the attack by Jonas, trying to bridge towards Lipovic. No response by Pogacar. Del Toro is pacing it down for Pogacar, so this is so OP. Del Toro and Pogacar together at the Tour de France is so overpowered. And of course, in the final kilometer, Tadej Pogacar attacks and wins. I don't think we need to talk much about Ivan Romeo finishing on 4 minutes. A very active day in the breakaway, but we get nothing for it. And not exactly a surprise, but Ivan Romeo drops from 4th place all the way to 11th out of the top 10. But he's actually still in the lead of KOM by 3 points on Tadej Pogacar, who is rather scary. By the way, in the last episode, I mistakenly said that there's no KOM points for this KOM jersey. There's actually points for the entire podium and even 3rd place, 110 points. That's worth going for. Undoubtedly, stage 16, 17 and 18 will be super important for Romeo to be in the breakaway for KOM points. But first, it's time to calm down. A regular sprint stage with Jasper Philipsen as the favorite. I think my aim with Kopecky is once again a top 10. With about 40 kilometers to go, despite being a sprint stage, Schwarzbacher is almost completely done for, so I think Romeo might have to do the lead out. Tercero, Mintegi, Romeo, this is the most scuffed lead out we've ever had. 5 kilometers to go, Tercero 199, we've got Kopecky with Energy Gel. We're still looking pretty decent when it comes to our position, so that's okay, but we have to move up now. Come on, last 2.5 kilometers, come on Mintegi, move up buddy, move up. We're in Narnia. We're in complete Narnia. Kopecky, just start sprinting. 1.5k to go, start sprinting in the wheel and see where you get, but this is the... Oh, Pogacar sprinting? Wow. Anyway, the stage wins for Jonathan Milan. 17th place. Okay, that's a stage to forget. Ooh, next up is a hilly parkour, but potentially a breakaway stage win. Tadej Pogacar is the favorite, but I said it already, I'm feeling breakaway. And of course, if I'm feeling breakaway, Ivan Romeo has to be in it. In it to win it. It is so beautiful to be able to start at the front of the peloton just because of that KOM jersey. I love it. There goes Romeo and Schwarzbacher. Schwarzbacher has been dropped from that breakaway, but the gap is 50 seconds and Romeo is in it. But on the first climb, the breakaway is already falling apart. Abrahamsen and Groves have been dropped and Romeo is struggling. I want to slowly but surely move up because I do want to try and take these KOM points on top, and they're gonna start sprinting for it pretty soon, and I just don't have the speed to compete, I think. So, ooh, maybe? 3rd place? No, we don't. Hey, at least I'm in the breakaway. On the 2nd KOM, this time I do not want to miss out on points, so I'm gonna launch myself right now in the last kilometer, 99. Come on, Romeo, fight for the points, buddy! That's a top 3, I think. Okay, a top 3 is useless because there's only 2 riders getting points and Romeo was not one of that. But for now, Ivan Romeo is still in the lead of KOM. But I do have some bad news. In the peloton, at least 4 teams are pacing, keeping the gap at 2 minutes, so I don't think this break's gonna win. And the breakaway is having to go so fast that rider by rider people are dropping and there's only 6 riders left now. And there goes Enric Mas off the back, so that's great for KOM. Let me take these KOM points. 3, 2, 1. There comes the attack. Romeo goes with G in the wheel. In this corner we're trying to get away, but I think we're gonna get beaten by 6 Saz, and yes, that's gonna happen. We do get 2nd. That is 1 point. Wow. Some riders attacking towards the breakaway from the peloton, Jarno Widar and Aramburu, and I'll just try to follow them. Actually, never mind. The peloton is right here, 16 seconds behind, so the breakaway is done for. And there we go. Romeo is back in the peloton. Anyway, in the last 5 kilometers, the final climb is starting, but all my riders are cooked, so I'm not doing much here. And somehow the winner is cat killer Antonio Tiberi by a late attack, in front of his teammate Bilbao and his other teammate Van der Meulen. That was a really weird final. After that stage, GC pretty much stays the same, but we got 1 more point in KOM, so that's a win. On to stage 15 then, a sprint stage with Jonathan Milan as the favorite. Just like last time, I'm aiming for a top 10 with Kopecky. The road is flattening out with about 10 kilometers to go, and our train is actually well positioned on the right side of the road, so we're looking pretty good. 5 kilometers to go, I'm trying to move up on the right side with Tercero, Mintegi about to take over. Is that too early? I'll have to do it anyway. Energy Gel on Kopecky as well. 3.5 kilometers to go, the other sprint trains are launching it, so Mintegi can do the same. That might have been a mistake, so Romeo back to going 99. There we go, already at the front. Launch right now, Romeo. Kopecky in the wheel with 1.4 kilometers to go. Looking pretty decent. There goes Kopecky before the final corner, but I think we might have a top 10 here, but nothing too much more. Maybe a top 5 if Groves starts slowing down, and that looks like it. So 5th place for Kopetsky, that's pretty good. That was a really technical final, and I think it helped us. Just like KOM, the points jersey also gives UCI points for the entire podium, but we are pretty far away in 4th place on like 70 points, so I don't think that's realistic. So the KOM jersey is really where it's at, and stage 16 is a very important stage because there's 2 climbs in the last 40 kilometers that are fast cat climbs, so 10 points every time. And I feel like this will go to the breakaway, so Ivan Romeo has to be in it. Let's get this party started. So, attacking from the get-go is once again my plan. There goes Romeo together with Alvarez right now into the breakaway. Okay, 14 riders in this breakaway, and the gap is 1 minute to the peloton led by Lund Andresen, so the break is not exactly gone yet. Okay, 10k later, and the peloton is pretty much sitting up, so the gap has grown to 3 minutes 20, which is good. But we need this gap to keep expanding for the breakaway to have a chance. The gap actually went up to 5 minutes 30, but then Visma Leaseby came to the front to start pacing in the peloton, so the gap is now down to 4 minutes 10, which that's not enough. But of course, in this breakaway, we've got Hector Alvarez with a proper flat stat, so he's cooking. 87 he's going, and the gap is back up to 5 minutes 30. If this stage goes to the breakaway, it's because of Hector. Anyway, time for the first of 2 climbs, the Port de l'Air, 12 kilometers at 7%, so not a massive climb, but I do need to be ready for any attacks. There we go, Hector Alvarez off the back, but he's done fantastic work. Romeo is still here and is trying to save energy, but stay in the draft. 2.7k towards the top of the climb, so Romeo needs to move up because I want those KOM points. There come the first attacks, and I'm not ready to respond to that all out, so I'll try to move to the left side of the road to the wheel of Van Eetveld, maybe spending quite a bit of my red bar doing that, so that's not great, and I just accidentally put myself on 32 effort, so that was extremely dumb. But at least I'm still in the breakaway. And this next climb, the Mur de Péguerre, is a really steep one. And there we go, the climb has begun and attacks are coming already, so let's keep following because we've actually got enough energy to try and compete here. There we go, onto the steep section, 3k to the top. We've got Van Eetveld chasing down Pole 6as, but Ivan Romeo is still in the wheel and I want to keep it that way, and I've just been dropped. So let's close that down. Come on, Romeo, 1.9 kilometers to go. I don't have much energy. I'm not sure I'm gonna make it. I don't think I will. Just 1 kilometer to go and my yellow bar is almost completely gone, so I have to drop my energy to 67, something like that, but I'm going to totally capitulate. The gap is half a minute and it's gonna explode. Over the top, I am literally 2 minutes behind the front of the race, so this is a disaster. In the last 2 kilometers, we've got Romain Grégoire, Pole 6as, Paddy Pancher and Derek G, but it looks like Pole 6as went way too early. Paddy Pancher coming for the line. G tries to come around, but that ain't working. Meanwhile, Ivan Romeo is in the last 2.3 kilometers in a group fighting for like 8th place, I think, so I'm just staying in the wheel, I think, of Ben Healy right now, and I'm gonna try and sprint myself, and I should be able to beat these guys. Actually, no. Healy beats me for 8th place, so 9th on the stage. But we did take about 3 minutes on the group of Tadej Pogacar, so we are moving up in GC, I think. Not that I really care about GC. But I gotta say, that stage was a bit of a disaster because we went into the breakaway for KOM points and got basically 0 KOM points and not even a fight for the stage win. But somehow, I don't even know how, we are still leading KOM. And actually, in GC we move up from P11 to 7th, so that's better than I thought. But I think we're gonna try the exact same thing again. Stage 17 is once again a mountain stage to Peragude with Tadej Pogacar as the favorite. It is quite short and has a flat start, so it's not exactly shouting breakaway, but I have to try. We simply need to score more KOM points than Pogacar. I have to say, I do love starting at the front of the peloton because it's so much easier to jump straight into the breakaway with Romeo and Okamika, but we're not exactly... Oh, we've got a gap. We've got a gap on the peloton and Rune Gergots is not exactly chasing. It looks like Astana is controlling the peloton, so I assume that they want to get in the breakaway. So let's give them an opportunity by attacking myself here, and they are jumping with me, so that is good. What is the response by UAE? They're letting me go. Awesome. And actually, what happens if I put every rider of my team in the breakaway? Oh, that's a bad moment to attack, but let's see if it happens after the corner. There we go. And once again, Astana in the wheel. So this is what the race looks like at the moment. A breakaway of 18 riders followed by a chasing group of 9 riders that includes 6 riders of my team, so it's basically a team time trial. Okay, most of my riders made it to the front, except Matthias Schwarzbacher, but now let's take a look at how we organize things. I've started by putting Kopecky in the relay line, so he's working with the other riders in this breakaway to make this breakaway work, because actually, the gap to the peloton is only 2 minutes 26, so UAE is not letting this go. Anyway, the first climb has begun, the Col d'Aspin, roughly 10k at 7%, so a pretty tough climb. Romeo is well protected, Kopecky is done for, so we got about 5 domestiques left.
12 seconds later.
Actually, Alvarez off the back, Mintegi off the back, Okamika off the back, Lopez is the only rider with energy and he's dropping accidentally, so that's not great, so we're literally solo. Romeo is solo already on the first climb with 2 kilometers to go, but I have to move up if I want some KOM points, so let's try to do that. Come on, 1.1 kilometers, gradually passing riders here. I might be able to top 4 this. Looks like that will be possible, but we will not podium on these KOM points, and nah, we will not catch Thor. So 4th place, which means a couple of KOM points. But it looks like Brandon McNulty is getting pretty close there on 6 points, so we gotta watch out. I must confess, when I decided to put my entire team into the breakaway, I was hoping to have more than a single rider in this breakaway left after 1 climb, but that is not the case. Now on the second climb, the Urquette d'Ancison, 9 kilometers at 5%, so somewhat easier. Archie Ryan is dropping off the back, Romeo is still in the group and looking pretty solid with 3k towards the top, and the only thing we need to do is beat Brandon McNulty. Ola, 1.1 kilometers to go. Actually, should I launch already? I don't think I should. I'm waiting. I'm trying to get into the wheel of Paul Sixas on the left side of the road. There goes Romeo in that wheel. Come on, man. Last 300 meters, all out by Romeo, and I think we got beaten by McNulty there. I actually don't know. Yeah, McNulty takes 3 points and we take 2, but at least the gap is only 1 point, so it's not the biggest deal. By the way, with about 30 kilometers to go, the breakaway has 6 minutes 30 on the peloton, so I'm still not sure this break is gonna win. Because Tadej Pogacar has quite a few teammates left in this peloton, including Del Toro. I will say, on the second last climb, I'm not exactly feeling too confident because the yellow bar on Mr. Romeo is not looking that good. Last 3 kilometers, I am struggling, but so is Brandon McNulty, so we're not alone. But in the last K, I am properly getting dropped. I'm trying to balance my red energy to make it to the top with that energy, but it's not exactly working. The gap is gonna be more than a minute here at the top. Yeah, 1 minute 20 to take back. That's impossible. I don't think that's happening. But hey, we are still in the lead of KOM by 3 points on McNulty. The last climb is now starting, the Peragut climb, 8 kilometers at 8%, and my energy is simply way too low. 3 minutes behind the front of the race, so we're cooked. And actually, there's a man called Tadej Pogacar not so far behind, so he will pass me. It looks like McNulty is still in 4th position on the road, so he will not take too many points. But it does look like this breakaway is fighting for the stage win. Seixas, Bilbao and Parepantre, and I don't want Parepantre to win because that man is also closing KOM. In the last kilometer, Bilbao is passing Parepantre. Come on, Paul Seixas. Now it's time to unleash your sprint. It's not gonna be Seixas, it's gonna be Bilbao taking it, and Parepantre will pick up quite a bit of KOM points, so I think we're not wearing the jersey anymore. We are finishing behind the GC riders in maybe 27th? Obviously, Tadej Pogacar is leading the Tour de France after the stage, and we lost our top 10. And more importantly, as I expected, Valentin Parepantre is the new wearer of the KOM jersey by 2 points only on Romeo. But at least we extended our gap to Tadej Pogacar, that is something. Actually, now in 11th place in GC on 3 minutes of top 10, but not impossible. But of course, it's all about this one. I want to win KOM. And this first climb on stage 18, the Col d'Aubisque, is gonna be key for that. 20 KOM points. After that, arguably a harder climb, the Col de Spandel, followed by Otakam, once again out of category. Honestly, I think it's the same story as our last stage. Go in the breakaway, take KOM points, and try to fight for the stage. But of course, a stage win is only possible if we keep this man behind us, Tadej Pogacar. I was actually worried that because we're not wearing KOM anymore that we would not start at the front of the peloton, but that's not happening. There we go, once again, in the breakaway. Come on, Okamika, one small bump in the road and he's already dropping from the breakaway, really? Romeo is literally already isolated after 5 kilometers. Let me try and get into the breakaway with a couple more riders. There we go, and we have a few more companions joining us, but also Hedegaard's chasing? Not exactly. There we go. It's taken the entire energy bar of Kopecky, but we've made it to the breakaway with everyone with a gap of 2 minutes 45 on the peloton led by UAE Team Emirates. But more importantly, Brandon McNulty, my man, is in the peloton. That is great. And Valentin Paris as well, so our two main competitors for KOM are not in the breakaway. But I am pretty scared of this guy. Joao Almeida is in the break and has some KOM points, 43, so he's not that far behind. Anyway, it's time to find out if we can beat him because the first climb has started. The Col d'Aubisque, 16k at 7%, so a bit of a beast. Like, as a passionate cycling fan, I've got these Grand Tour stages from the history of the sport that I vividly remember. And sure, the Col du Granon stage, the 2014 Cobble stage with Vincenzo Nibali, that stuff, I remember that vividly. But also this one stage with the Col d'Aubisque, this climb, in 2010-2011 where Thor Hushovd won a mountain stage against, I think, Jérémy Roy, a random French guy on FDG. That stage is part of my childhood of watching the sport, and I love looking back to it. So yeah, a question for you. What is the most underrated stage in a Grand Tour you've seen yourself? Anyway, our last domestique is dropping Lucas Lopes as we speak, so Ivan Romeo, you gotta move up now because it's the last 2 kilometers. Come on, Romeo, 1.3 kilometers to go, as many KOM points as possible. We have to beat them all. 91, 92. I can't go all out yet, but we won't get the full pot, that's for sure. Now we shall start sprinting. We can get maybe 4th place just behind Almeida, so that's pretty solid. And points-wise, it's amazing for us. 66 points for Ivan Romeo now, 8 points on Paris and 9 points on Sixas. And actually, he's also in this breakaway, so we gotta watch out. Okay, second last climb begins, the Col de Spandel, and I'm feeling pretty solid with Ivan Romeo, so that's looking good. And by the way, the peloton with Tadej Pogacar is about 5 minutes behind, so not too far. Ay, these guys have 30 seconds on Ivan Romeo with 1.7k to the top, so I definitely will not be taking KOM points, but I'm just hoping to survive at this point. Looks like the points are going to Laurens de Plus or Van Eetveld with Almeida and Sixas behind them. And Romeo crosses the line just about beating Ryan. We now have a lead of 6 points, so actually not that much. But to be honest, the gap from the front of the race to Ivan Romeo right now is a minute 15, so I'm not sure I'll be able to get back. The final climb is starting and we can literally see them riding in front of us, but they're accelerating away and I'm trying to do my own tempo, but I just don't have the energy, so stage win is definitely not possible and I'm starting to worry about KOM. So actually, I'm gonna wait on the peloton as we speak. I'm gonna go to the front of the peloton and start hammering it right now on 90. I want Tadej Pogacar to catch the breakaway and win the stage to make sure I win KOM. There we go. Come on, Romeo. Keep hammering it. Keep hammering it. The gap is down to 3 minutes and I'm done working. So now it's up to Pogacar himself. 3 minutes with 7k to go. I think the break has it. I literally feel like that meme right now. Come on, do something with my little stick poking Tadej Pogacar, but the man is just sitting in this group right now, doing nothing. There's one good thing, Laurens de Plus is going to win the stage, but I don't want these guys, Sixas and Almeida, to take many points. 2 kilometers to go, and the gap is actually closing down. Del Toro is closing them down, but it's too late. It's too late. Pogacar will not catch them. In the last kilometer, he's trying his absolute best, but Almeida and Sixas will finish 3rd and 4th. I absolutely do not know what that means for KOM. Oh, really? Down to 3rd place? Joao Almeida is the leader in KOM, ahead of Paul Sixas, and we are 6 points behind in 3rd place. That is devastating. But let's be honest, it is logical because Joao Almeida and Paul Sixas, they're far better climbers than Ivan Romeo. Then again, that doesn't make it hurt any less. And the sad part is, that's it when it comes to KOM, because on stage 19, yes, there's 2 KOM points available, but I need more, and stage 20 and stage 21 don't have KOM points. So 3rd place in KOM is where we're gonna finish, which I guess is still 110 UCI points, so that's solid. Anyway, feels like it's been a while, but back to sprinting then on stage 19, because Mateusz Kopecky is ready for another top 10. There we go, coming to the front slowly but surely. Tercero is done for, so let's make Alvarez do the work now. Come on, get out of the way. Tercero, that's nice. Energygel on Schwarzbacher, now on Kopecky as well. Romeo is ready to can launch right now. We get Alvarez out of the way. We've got Schwarzbacher nicely in the wheel, but I might have gone too early with Romeo. I'm not sure yet. 3.4k to go. Let's do this. There we go. 2.3 kilometers to go. Schwarzbacher goes on 99, but I can't sprint yet. Now he can. That is too early. That is too early. That is too early. That is too early. We are in Narnia. Kopecky. Schwarzbacher is right there. Follow his wheel. You had one job. You're literally losing his wheel with 1.2 kilometers to go. What am I supposed to do with this? You can't even get back to his wheel right now. Come on. That is so silly. My man, what a shit performance. Jonathan Milan wins and gotta say, my team did not deserve this. Kopecky did not deserve a top 10. Not even in the top 20. That is a despicable performance. We're losing the sprint against Jonas Vingegaard. Ay, 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 ay. Anyway, time for a time trial. 39.7 kilometers with Ivan Romeo at the start, but also Filippo Ganna. By the way, I forgot to mention earlier, I think Ivan Romeo is in about 14th position in GC, so not close to a top 10 anymore. That said, with about 77 time trial, I do hope for a top 5 maybe in this time trial. I guess we're about to find out. By the way, I'm recording this time trial on my birthday, the 23rd of November, and I gotta say, I better get some surprise victory as a gift here because our team needs it. So, our big man is on the road, Ivan Romeo, 79 time trial on the day, so pretty good race day condition, but I've done a few recons with other riders and I've still not figured out what the perfect strategy is, so I guess we're about to find out. First time check incoming, let's take a look. We are 6th place right now on 11 seconds, so pretty solid. I've been trying to micromanage my energy between 75 and 80. We're now passing Leonard van Eetveld, not exactly a surprise, but the second time check is right here, and second place on 6 seconds of Filippo Ganna, so we're in the running. But we gotta make sure we have enough energy for the final 2 climbs, because that will be important. Oh my goodness, at the third time check, Filippo Ganna has 2 minutes 44 on Josh Starling. That's insane. The question is, can Ivan Romeo offer any resistance? Second place on 43 seconds. Ganna's insane. In the last kilometer as we speak, we're trying to spend our red bar right now, which is going pretty well. Let's move to 85 maybe. There comes the final stretch, and Romeo gets in second place on 26 seconds. So a really good time trial, but no victory. I don't think I've ever gotten a birthday gift of Pro Cycling Manager. Really sad. Tadej Pogacar is the last rider on the road, but I don't think he'll beat us. Exactly, second place for Ivan Romeo, so a pretty fantastic outcome to this time trial. And actually, the gaps in this time trial are pretty gigantic, 2 minutes 19 to 4th place. But sadly, it doesn't change much in GC. We remain in 14th place, which I didn't expect to enter the top 10, but if we had moved to top 13 or top 12, that would have increased our UCI points. But considering the final stage of this race is the Champs-Élysées, we won't see many changes in this GC, so Tadej Pogacar wins by 6 minutes 31 on Jonas Vingegaard, and Ivan Romeo finishes on 22 minutes in 14th place. Which means, just like KOM, 110 UCI points, so pretty solid. Honestly, I feel like I'm Astana at the moment. I only care about UCI points. And well, our final chance to get some is on this stage, 21 to the Champs-Élysées. Unsurprisingly, Jonathan Milan is the favorite, but as always, I'm hoping for a top 10 with Matthias Kopecky, especially after the disaster that was his last sprint. Our man needs to do better. I gotta say, riding on the Champs-Élysées, even on Pro Cycling Manager, there's always something to it, especially with a +2 race day condition on Kopecky, so 75 sprint stat. We can work with that. Why is Brian Kokar attacking with 11 kilometers to go? What do you think you're gonna achieve? You're a sprinter. Wait for the sprint. Anyway, he's getting caught as we speak. Not exactly my problem. Alvarez on 99 into the tunnel as we speak. Come on. We shall pause for a second in the tunnel. Awful view, but let's put every rider on 99. There we go. We are back out of the tunnel. Tercero in second wheel ready to launch right now. Alvarez, get out of the way, buddy. Where's the rest of the train? Romeo's getting blocked. That is not ideal, but we've got enough riders. Energygel on Kopecky. We gotta move up. We gotta move up. We gotta move up. 4 kilometers to go. Come on, Romeo. It's your turn soon. Right now, Tercero out of the way. Romeo can launch a sprint pretty soon himself, I think. Not yet. Not yet. Right now, Schwarzbacher in the wheel with Kopecky in that wheel. Schwarzbacher launches too early. Kopecky launches too early. Ay, 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 ay. This is gonna be a train wreck. Milan on the right, Philipsen on the left, and I'm getting devoured, but maybe a top 10. I think we'll get some UCI points. So Philipsen wins on the Champs-Élysées and Kopecky finishes 9th? Something like that? One thing is certain, that was far from a perfect lead out. Wait a second, Jasper Philipsen's feet are in the ground. That can't be healthy. Nonetheless, 8th place on the stage with Matthias Kopecky. But of course, the biggest one, Tadej Pogacar wins the Maillot Jaune once again of the Tour de France with 6 minutes 31 on Jonas Vingegaard. But not winning KOM, this one hurts because I do think it was possible to win this if we focused on it more. Anyway, Jonathan Milan wins green and Romain Grégoire wins white. Now, of course, we had a pretty fantastic Tour de France with Matthias Kopecky winning stage 4, plus our mountain stage victory on Megève with Ivan Romeo from the breakaway. But it is the consistency of our results, for example getting a podium on Granon, that is what matters for this team. Because Siroko for Endurance gained so many UCI points in this one Tour de France. So it's time to take a look at the UCI ranking to see what happened. Before this Tour de France began, we were in 23rd position. That is not the case anymore. Oiskaltel sits there now. We are now in 19th place, so we moved up 4 positions thanks to this one Tour de France. That is excellent. That's a single position away from the top 18, which is what we need to stay in World Tour next season. So yeah, we made massive progress, but the work is not done yet. We have to keep performing until the end of 2026. By the way, I was taking a casual look at our scouting and I think I found one of the biggest talents in the game. A ridiculous 5.5 star potential, a real life rider, Benjamin Oval. I think he signed for Ineos in real life and this guy's already really good at 17. 17 mountain stat already. That is insane. So yeah, I need to sign this guy in the next episode. Because well, with the Tour de France behind us, the next episode starts with the 1st of August, so transfer time. But that is for next time. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.